thepascalshow.
Breaking news. Oh, snap. This is 14 minutes old. So prosecutors and lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs have agreed on a protective order regarding case discovery that specifies sealed material will not be posted online, including any social media site such as Facebook or Twitter. Can you break that down into layman's terms for us layman's?
Yeah.
What the hell is going on now? What?
It means that as part of the criminal prosecution, the prosecutor has a duty to turn over essentially what it's going to be presenting in trial. It has to turn over its case, the evidence that it's developed to use at trial, experts it's going to call, and any exculpatory evidence. So all of that comprises the discovery. It's not uncommon in federal court for discovery to be provided under confidentiality provisions like this, meaning that, normally if the state gives me a piece of paper and there's no restriction on it, I can hand that piece of paper to anybody I want. I can publish it on the front page of the New York Times. It doesn't matter really what it is, unless there's, it's like a legally protected document or something like that. And so that's always the risk with discovery, is that there's a lot of potential for private information to be able to be disseminated if it isn't under court order to be protected. So not uncommon for that to happen in federal cases. This one is very comprehensive in that they are apparently restricting all the discovery, like not just, confidential information or private health information or certain things like that everybody can kind of understand. Yeah, these are sensitive things. As I read the order, it's all the discovery. They don't want any of it leaking out and getting published.
But that's trash for us. Mm-hmm. Right? That's absolute trash for us people out here, the news reporters, the gossip columnists, etc. Because now we don't get all the smoking gun evidence and information, correct? Because they're basically stealing all of that off from everybody.
What I don't like about it, I mean, the idea behind it, the principle, of course, is that the case should be tried in the courtroom, right? It should not be tried in the court of public opinion. It should be tried in the courtroom through the court processes. They exist for a reason and so forth. That's the justification for it. I don't always like that, though, because I'm interested in whether what's happening in the courtroom is just or not. Is this fair? Is this right? Is this producing a good outcome? Yeah. And you need a bigger picture to be able to evaluate that. I can't just look at what evidence was introduced in a trial and decide if it's fair. I need to know what evidence was available that didn't get introduced. I need to know what questions didn't get asked. I need to know about the investigation as a whole. This Richard Allen case is a great example. There was a lot of potential third-party culprits. Other people did it. Evidence that was developed throughout the course of the investigation. The defense is being precluded from admitting any of that in trial. It's all been excluded. And so it fairly, to me, calls into question whether this is a good process that's happening in that court, if this kind of part of the case isn't allowed to be part of that story. So that's the issue that I have with broad restrictions on disseminating discovery and parts of the investigative process and stuff like that. I'm not an absolutist. Yes, there are certain things that are private, personal, should remain that way, should have protection. But in general, the public should have that information because we need that to be able to evaluate, are our systems working the way that we intend them to and we expect them to? Because it's our job to go and vote for the judges and the prosecutors and sometimes the public defenders and the sheriff and people like that are running this system for us. So yeah, we have to be able to evaluate how they're doing their jobs, and you need to see their work product to be able to make that call.
That's interesting. But I do find it interesting that they're not... Can this turn into a mess? Could this be potentially messy here in the near future?
With the restriction?
Yeah, with the restriction.
Well, I think what happens is like what happened with Kohberger. So there was a gag order in the place instantly. And so then what happened? You have a lot of speculation. You have a lot of attribution to anonymous sourcing. You have information that turns out to be unreliable, unverified, untrue. And so it's very ironic to me that the motive is, oh, let's protect the right to a fair trial. But the problem is, this is one of those situations where the cure may be a little bit worse than the symptom, because you create this environment where people want to know and they want answers and they speculate, and then just in certain contexts, speculation can get escalated into people thinking, it's more substantial than it is. So real downside to having this type of gag on the publicity of the court process, in my opinion.
Yeah. This is going to be very interesting, because if everything's being shut off, then there's just, oh man. See, that's the hard part, because now we're just going to be hearing a lot of I feel like now is just going to be nothing but room for the speculation, room for the BS, rather than being like, hey, here's the proof. And so so all of us are able to stay on course in the rightful way, not just riding on the fact of just BS, right? On just gossip, right? So man, that is pretty tragic, but hey, I guess it is what it is. Maybe they'll change their ways. I have no idea.
The practical matter is that what will happen is largely like what's happened in Kohberger, where you have a massive number of eyes now on this case that are going to monitor every court filing to look for trickles of information that the lawyers release about what they found in the course of making the different arguments they have to make to the court. So that's really going to be the only way to get a sense of how the case is developed.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here. But that's not, I mean, for all of us, right? For all of us nosy individuals that want to know what's going on, for all of us reporters, the media that just want to stick with the facts and not just run on rumor. This is no bueno, guys. It's no bueno. But hopefully we'll get more. Hopefully we'll get more information here very soon. Or hopefully maybe over time it will change. There's always room for it to change in the future. So so hopefully we'll see what happens here, right?
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.